Storing frames when you're not using them in actual hive where the bees are is very important actually. This is my cellar underneath my garage, so it's very dry. It stays in the 50s, and I have an insulated door that I made up. So, and then there's my wine I made this year. That's some good times right there. So when I downsize a hive, I bring it down the stairs and I set it in here. And sometimes I don't have time to go through it to check to see what I took away from a colony. Like, for instance, anything brown can get wax moths on it. This is not really brown. I think this is okay. I don't need to have it down here. I can move it out. During the fall, it's not really cold enough to kill the wax moth caterpillars. And here's one that I found that's just started. Get a hive tool, and you can see there's actually a caterpillar in there that I saw. It's in there somewhere. But anyway, if I had just walked away from this and left it down here in the cellar, my cellar doesn't get the wax moths coming in, but if I bring in frames that have stuff on it, they will grow and they will populate my cellar during the winter. So I have to remove that, get it, kill it, or whatever, get it out of there. Because what I'm doing is I'm sorting through these deeps that I put here a few days ago or a week ago, and I've opened the colony outside, and they don't have any pollen for the spring. They have a lot of honey but no pollen. So I want to get this in the hive near the centers as close as I can. There's 3 frames that I took out and that I want to replace with something better. And here is a foundationless frame. During the winter, if it's bitter cold, if you're not careful and you handle this rough, it's going to snap off and break. And you end up with not being able to use that. It's about half full of syrup. There's no pollen on it, but it's half full of syrup. So that is a nice frame to put in there. On the other side of this would be closer to the cluster. The cluster has lots of honey in the center of the hive, but there was 3 frames on the outside that had basically nothing. So I want to put pollen near the cluster of bees, and then I want to put some honey, or even if it's not capped, near the frame of pollen. And then you be careful when you handle that in the hive. Don't slam your hives around, because normally you wouldn't do that anyway. You got bees. And this right here is a combination of both pollen and syrup, basically on one side. So if I find something better, look, that's a lot of pollen. Well, anyway, I go through and I locate things that I want to take outside and put in a colony. And I'm also going through and saying, hey, this doesn't need to be down here, because I was in a hurry, didn't have time to sort these completely when I brought this down. See, that doesn't need to be down here. It doesn't need to be taking up space down here. And there's 4 categories. There's foundation with no cells. There's foundation with open cells. That's what these are. But they haven't really done much brood in them, so they're not brown like this. This is brown. It's got pollen on it, but no syrup. It's got quite a bit of pollen. So that's a pollen frame. And this right here is a honey frame. It's not capped yet, but that's all honey. So I got 4 categories: pollen, honey, empty cells, and I don't have any frames down here with just foundation on it because I caught all those and I got those in my shed. I don't have to worry about wax moths at all, but I always check these, make sure they're not brown. Any little bit of brown on them, you get wax moths on them. Wow, that's a nice pollen frame. You want to take care of this stuff because come next spring or late winter, it'd be nice to have a few of these, especially when I'm making mating nukes. And I always buy pollen patty, but it's nice to have the original stuff, you know, that's on a frame. I can put that on a mating nuke. Or if I find a colony that has it laying queen, but they don't seem to have enough pollen, I can put it in. So, and then when it gets cold out, if I want to take these out for a few weeks, say it's in the 20s all day, I could take these out and I could set them outside, and that will kill any pest in there. And I see a lot of videos on YouTube about hive beetles. I don't have issues with hive beetles. I have a few of them here and there, but it's never been an issue for me. It's just the wax moths. You really got to watch the wax moths because they can get out of hand in no time. Okay, thank you.